National Animal Welfare Trust was actually started in 1971, and we took over these kennels in 1981. There's always animals coming in, animals going out. We just don't know what the days are going to be like. We have animals dumped at gate, dumped in the car park, particularly now that we're coming to the warm weather. We find a lot more animals dumped than we used to. People ring us and say, I can't keep this dog because it's boisterous, or I can't keep this dog because I'm expecting another child. There's all sorts of reasons, allergies, their allergies, their children's allergies.
The National Animal Welfare Trust is a charitable organisation and rely heavily on donations from their loyal supporters. They offer sanctuary to any unwanted or abandoned animal. They also care for wild animals that may have been injured, such as badgers and foxes. The Trust operates a non-destruction policy. No healthy animal is put to sleep, and they will attempt to find suitable new owners for all their animals, although some, of course, have more appeal than others. It is difficult, for instance, to find homes for elderly animals.
Hello? Yeah, I'm just taking them in at the moment.
This family reluctantly hand over 3 pups from a litter of 7. They haven't the facilities to care for so many dogs, and decide the best chance for the pups is for them to find new homes through the Trust at Watford.
No, she had 7, 4 of them behind, and these I just couldn't cope with this one.
In just a short time you can become very attached, especially when the animals in question are so cute. Parting can be extremely difficult.
Right, okay then, if you want to give them to the girl. We have a vet that comes in twice a week, normally a Wednesday, Thursday, and we operate neutering and all sorts of other things. And if we have an emergency in the week, we go to the local practice. Yep. Gorgeous, aren't they?
Veterinary surgeon Alison Warnett examines all animals on their arrival. No waiting list here, and the pups are soon having their medical.
Oh, hi, don't look so worried.
No names yet.
Frank has named them.
Which phone is it for, I think?
Is this the bitch? No, this is a dog.
Which is the darkest one?
I've started to use more acupuncture here now because it cuts down on the cost of drugs as well as actually cutting down on using drugs in animals. We can use it for arthritis problems, cats with sinusitis. It's very good for cats with FIV. We're using it more and more here now.
Yeah, she's round there.
Years ago, people were very wary of humans with HIV, and now I think people are more relaxed about it. In the same way, I feel that people should view the cat equivalent of HIV, which is FIV, and not be so scared, not be pushed into having FIV positive cats euthanized. They can live for 5, 6, 7 years without having problems. And they can live in a household with negative cats without necessarily passing it on to the FIV negative cats. There isn't any treatment for FIV as such. All you can do really is treat the infections or the problems as they come along. However, one thing that we found helpful here is the use of veterinary acupuncture. Acupuncture works to actually help the body's own immune system. You know, eventually they are going to die. FIV depresses the immune system. They are possibly prone to more problems, prone to taking longer to get over problems, but it's not the end of the world straight away. And I would like to see a little bit more public awareness about FIV generally, and for people to be prepared to take on FIV positive cats and give them, you know, a good home, knowing that with a cat, say for a 15-year lifespan, it may still have 5 or 6 good years of good quality life left. People rely on their own vets to provide information, and even within the veterinary profession there is differing advice. Some vets are still advising euthanasia for FIV positive cats, and unfortunately there are other charities that if they get FIV positive cats in, they will put them to sleep, and I feel this is unnecessary. If there aren't enough members of the public prepared to take them on, whether we could find areas such as Trindledown where we could actually keep colonies of FIV positive cats and give them a good quality of life.
Trindledown Farm is an exciting new venture the Trust is developing in Newbury, Berkshire. It offers elderly animals the opportunity to see out their remaining years in a relaxed, happy country environment.
In this field we've got Dolly, who is about 28 years old, and Ricky, her companion, and they're a bit rough looking at the moment because they still have the remains of their winter coat on. Soon they'll start losing their coat and we'll groom them, but at the moment the weather's still quite chilly, so we don't want them to lose their coat at the moment. But they'll look a lot smarter in a few weeks' time. They're great companions, they love each other and you can't separate them. They've been together for years. They came from our Watford centre, and Dolly used to belong to some travellers across the bypass, and she used to escape regularly and come over to our Watford centre, so in the end they decided to keep her, and now she's ended up here, hopefully for the rest of her life.
Bubble the goat is a firm friend of the ponies.
You can't separate them, they're great companions. They're good climbers. She used to jump out of here all the time, but she's decided that she'll stay in now. We keep them on quite a strict diet because little ponies get a laminitis, which is a sort of a heating in the feet, and they get lame, and it can be really serious. So you mustn't feed these little native ponies on too rich a diet. So we do ration their food. The others, of course, can have more food and hard feed, but these little ones don't. They have hay and just a few pony nuts.
The land is being prepared and shaped for housing the various animals. Tony Redwin explains some of the plans.
This is an old menage. The farm was used as a riding stables until recently. So we're going to use this menage as an exercise and play area for the dogs. There's going to be benches around and people can bring the animals out and play with them. The whole property is going to be very well fenced, so the animals will be secure within here. So people can walk the animals, and should they escape from their walkie, they won't be able to get out of the property. As we get to know people, of course, we will allow them to walk them further. They can take them up and walk across the downs. They're very lovely walks over the downs, and the racehorses running by as well. It will be very interesting.
Meanwhile, back at Watford, Alison continues to treat the never-ending flow of animals. This elderly cat appears to be bothered by his eyes. Alison checks him
I've got
out.
some cataract there, so I can't actually get to see the back of the retina. I can't see the retina clearly enough. That lens is actually quite cloudy and sort of dark deposits on the back of it. Not causing any pain.
Well, it's to be 15.
Yeah, accepted.
Yeah.
Next to Rabbit, whose teeth have grown too long.
Amanda, we're giving those pups their first Nobivac.
Yeah, Barry said they were coming round. He says it's the beginning of the end.
Just shut your eyes while I do this, because these bits of teeth can fly all around the room. Okay.
A white Persian cat already anaesthetised, also has teeth problems.
What's that? Hair and what's leg here?
This cat actually came in and it was a mass of knots, as most Persians are when we get them. So it's already, as you can see, being clipped out. But as it needs its teeth cleaning, at the same time we can groom it properly.
This is again local anaesthetic gel, just so the throat isn't too sore when the tube's actually into the top of the windpipe.
No, I think it's...
And I always blow down tubes just to make sure that they're patent, because I have known in the past, or I've heard stories that cats can go into respiratory failure because the tube's been blocked and they haven't been able to get enough oxygen through. This cat's lost quite a lot of teeth already, but we've got a very nasty looking tooth there, so that will probably have to come out, and one on the other side.
It just showed up at the gate one weekend with its owner, and the owner saying he just couldn't keep it anymore, couldn't afford to keep it, and when we got it out of the basket it was just a knot from head to toe, as unfortunately most Persians are when they come to us. That's mainly the reasons why we get them in. So we shaved off most of it on the day, but we knew we had to anaesthetise it to do its teeth at some point, but we'll tartar her up today. Persian cats, long-haired cats, look lovely as kittens, chocolate boxy, but they grow and so do their coats, and people just don't ever get around to grooming them, so they end up like a rug.
There's a lot of root exposure, although that tooth hasn't actually got a hole in it. Now I've got the tartar off. There's a lot of root exposure and gum erosion there, so I'm going to take that tooth out as well. So that's actually only going to leave her with her 4 canine teeth and a few little incisors. She'll have no back molars at all. But cats manage fine. I mean, we've had a lot of cats where we've had to take every single tooth out, and they're far better with no teeth and no pain than try maintaining the teeth that are causing them discomfort. And they eat perfectly well. Cats with no teeth can even eat hard biscuits without any problems. Just going to turn her over and do the tooth on the other side. Sweetie. Because the ultrasonic scaler actually puts tiny scratches into the enamel, and so we try and polish those scratches out. Otherwise the scratches can act as a focus for bacteria to build up again. There is again an ultrasonic dental polisher that you can purchase, but
Karen came over here
as a charity we have to really spend money where it's absolutely necessary.
A grumpy cockerel doesn't want to be messed with.
It's amazing how strong he is.
Oh, who is that?
It's awfully gooey after that. Careful that scab off you.
Jack Russell.
We're just going to carry on with antibiotics. He's got a wound on the back of his hock, so he's on antibiotic injections.
It takes a great deal of dedication to care for animals on a daily basis, something the trusts have to make sure when recruiting staff.
We have about 15-16 kennel staff here, and staffing can sometimes be a problem. What we look for in staff really is people, not so much experience as people who are committed and want to do work with animals. We have in the last couple of weeks taken on a few staff. We have got a couple of new staff at the moment.
Well, today I'm starting my 2 days voluntary work to see if I'd like to go on full time. It's the first time I've worked with animals before, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far. And obviously I've got my own animals at home, like domestic animals, and I'm quite into reptiles, but I haven't actually worked with animals in this environment before. I've always worked with children since I qualified as a nursery nurse, so it's something completely different for me.
We asked 2 of the regular staff how their day began.
What we do, first thing in the morning, we let all the dogs out, we feed them, and then we go on to cleaning them. And then what do you do in the kitten house? First of all, it's feeding all the mums and the tiny kittens. They're 4 hourly feeds. Excuse me.
Then something extraordinary happened. What's this?
Moving, so I don't know if anything's dead or alive.
Oh no.
What's this? What's happening here, Julia?
I've just found a box just up there by the car park, but you wouldn't see it from down here. I don't know what's in it because it's taped up, but I don't know if anything's dead or alive.
Does this
Oh no, I can see some kittens. Oh no, they are. They're moving.
Does this happen regularly, sort of thing?
Not. It does happen, but not really regularly. But a lot of times people come down and ring the bell. It's when they just dump them. Of course, we can't see up the drive, and if they're left there too long, they could just die.
How long do you think these have been there?
I don't know. It depends if they're cold. You can tell when you pick them up. But they warm. Poor little kittens. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? Are they warm?
Yeah,
not too
fairly
bad.
warm.
Yeah.
So they haven't been there long.
But the
Why would somebody
problem's
dump them
worse.
like that?
Because they're just cowards. They don't want to admit that they don't want them anymore. They haven't got their female neutered. So they get the kittens, they dump them.
I mean, we always take them in. If they could just have rung the bell and
They're just cowards.
they don't have the decency, do they, to hand them over properly?
No, and they think they're going to have to pay if they hand them over, and we'll say no. Even if they come and hand them over and lie, saying they've just found them, it's better than them dumping
Better
them.
than leaving them because they could have died there.
Oh, poor little thing.
They're not that old, are they, really?
They only about 3 weeks.
So what will you do with them now?
We'll take them in and we'll hand rear them.
Sugar and Spice are two animals that have left Watford and enjoy a different lifestyle at Trindledown.
Sugar and Spice have been with us for some time now. They were both rescued as calves. They were going for animal experimentation. Somebody saved them and brought them to us, and they've been living at our Watford centre for some years, but now are very happy running around the fields here down at Trindledown Farm.
There is much building work to be done if Trindledown is to achieve its goal of providing a home to underprivileged and elderly animals.
These units that we're seeing now under preparation are going to be the first cat and dog accommodation. There's going to be 2 blocks of rooms for the animals to live in, and we're going to recreate their sitting room from home, the sort of accommodation that they've been used to for years. So this is the first phase of the cat and dog accommodation that's going up here, and we should be able to accommodate 40 cats and 60 dogs in the units when that area is completed. The dogs will have armchairs and sofas to sleep on, depending how they can cope with getting up onto sofas, etc. They'll have a television in the corner. Most of the dogs seem to like watching television, mainly the sports programmes. We don't usually put televisions in the cats' accommodation. They don't seem very interested, but there's usually music playing in there. Just somehow trying to recreate a homely atmosphere as near as possible.
Watford too has created homely living rooms for their sick and elderly guests.
People don't want the old animals, they don't want the old cats, and this idea is just so that they feel a little bit more like being at home in a sitting room type area, and they can go out in the yard if they want to, rather than sitting in an ordinary cattery. It's just more like being at home for them. This is Penny. Penny came in with her other half, Bess, but unfortunately Bess did die. She had a tumour, so Penny came down and moved in with the oldies. Jewel is the one lying down on the floor, the retriever cross. She was in a road traffic accident years ago, which is how she got here. Chewy in the chair is Springer Spaniel. He's diabetic and has to have insulin injections twice a day. Poppy, her owner actually died, and the rest of the family couldn't or didn't feel able to look after her anymore, and so she got signed over to us, and she's about 13.
Yes.
I love cameras.
Poppy is old and feeling her age.
Good girl.
Alison has been giving her acupuncture to relieve the symptoms.
Do you think she's been any better since we acupunctured her last week?
She was one day later, the next day.
Right.
Definitely a big difference. She's lifting her head up and everything. I don't know if that's affected that.
A bit more energy.
It might have taken the pain away. So she felt a little better. She definitely was much better. I just wrap her up.
Can you get her card out for me?
There you go, babes. It's all right.
It's in the back section under Poppy. There we go. Good little girl. So Poppy came to us with, in a really poorly state, she had acute kidney failure, which we got her over with conventional medicine, drips and antibiotics and such like. And she's now in our oldies block, but her kidneys are coping just. She's getting old and she's getting stiff, and we're trying her on a course of acupuncture treatment just to help her kidneys, help her legs.
Well, let her sit down if she wants to.
Yeah, she can sit down.
It's not like her to sit down.
There we go.
Good girl. Good girl.
That point there is called the gate of vitality. She's also got an incontinence problem as well, so I'll put some needles in, aiming for improvement there as well. And I'm going to do a couple of points which are influential points for muscles and tendons to try and give her a little bit more strength. Again in her muscles. Is she worse in the damp weather, Brendan?
They all are in oldies.
Right, and damp rather than cold? Or does it not make much difference?
She wasn't as bad when it was frosty weather, that's for sure.
Right.
But she's gone downhill a bit since then anyway. I don't know if it's the damp weather.
Right, we'll do a couple of damp clearing points as well then.
The dream of developing Trindledown Farm is gradually taking shape, but it's not easy raising the funds.
The development of the site now depends on the amount of money that we can earn, and although we provide a service for the elderly, giving them the assurance that their animals will be looked after when they have to go into sheltered accommodation, when they have to go into hospital, and even upon their demise, we will take home their animal for them and look after it for the rest of its life. The Trust has a total non-destruction policy. No well animal is ever put to sleep, no matter how long it stays with us. And that is very comforting for an old person that's had an animal as their sole companion for many, many years. Up until now, we've been supported by our loyal band of supporters that have been friends of the Trust for many years. And this idea caught their imagination, and they collected a lot of money to enable us to buy the property and to do the initial development. The ongoing development depends on how much money I can draw in from the general public. Unfortunately, we can't get a lottery grant because lottery grants aren't given to pure animal charities. They're given to charities where the human benefits most.
The foundations have now been laid for the cats and dogs accommodation.
This will be the sleeping areas, and then out of here there'll be a covered exercise area, and then out further into an enclosed paved courtyard where people can come in and walk with the animals, talk to the animals, etc. And hopefully we're going to have a big bird cage along the side there with 28 cockatiels and 2 quail. An old lady is having to go into sheltered accommodation and can't take her birds with her, so she's asked us to take them and put them all together in a big cage, and we thought it would be rather attractive to be along the side of the barn.
Poppy's acupuncture session is coming to an end.
I think we'll leave it at that. In old dogs you don't want to put too many needles in because it can actually move so much energy around that it can actually do them harm rather than good. Let's put one more needle in, aiming for her bladder points.
Heating the needles provides extra stimulation, therefore increasing the benefits of the procedure.
You just have to be careful not to singe the hair. Good girl.
Space at Watford is at a premium, and not an inch is wasted. The welfare of the animals always comes first, and each designated area is planned carefully.
We've got a small farm area as well. We've got a few goats, a couple of donkeys, 2 ponies, 4 pigs, pot-bellied pigs.
Taking advantage of the facilities at Watford are a number of feral cats.
Walking around, there's loads. There's probably about 10, 15.
Do they just come in from outside as well?
Yeah, a lot of them are coming from outside. They might have the FIV, which is the cat aid, so of course we can't home them, so they just live around here. And if you do home them, they've got to be homed as house cats. So a lot of them are like males, and they would like to be house cats, so they just wander around. I do top cattery, so, and I look after all the ferals as well.
Oh, really?
So that's all the dots of food you see everywhere. I feed them, and they've got the biscuits and change all their bedding.
We're very near Elstree Aerodrome, but we don't actually have a great deal of problem with that. It certainly doesn't upset the animals, and to be honest, we don't really notice it anymore. It's commonplace.
In the quieter setting of Newbury, Trindledown is making progress.
As you can see now, we've developed quite well here. We're getting to the final stages. The roofs are about to go on, the cladding on the walls. One of our supporters who's recently lost a dog has given us some money to buy a lamppost to put in the middle in memory of her dog and to give the dogs somewhere to cock their legs. So hopefully within a few more weeks we should have the first cats and dogs in those units there. Fundraising is quite difficult these days. Any conferences that we go to, we find that everybody's having the same problem. The legacy market is drying up because people are living longer, and during those longer lifetimes it's becoming more expensive to live, so the legacies when they do come are much less. And then we have to go around raising money in the usual way. A local lady did the London Marathon for us and raised us some money. A little girl who lives near our Watford centre did a sponsored dog walk for us and raised about £150. It's small money that comes in. People have sponsored units here. One lady has given us a considerable sum to build 2 of the dog units in memory of her bearded collies. Other people send in money in memory of their relatives, very generously. But the rest of it is the normal fundraising, raffles, tombolas, open days, appeals, just general fundraising. We had planned to put an aviary along the edge of the barn here, but we decided to put the aviary for the time being outside the barn here. There were about 35 birds that arrived to go in the aviary, and we found that it was a little bit overcrowded. So we've now taken some of the birds up to Watford, where we had a big aviary with not so many in. They seem to have settled in very well. They seem quite happy with their new environment. Yeah, you were right about this, the aviary. It would have been much too hot. Now we've got the summer.
I know, because you see it's facing south, and also the heat is sort of there against the walls. Yes.
Trapped, yeah.
No, it wouldn't have been nice for them.
Reflect off the tiles and off the wall.
You're
quite right.
Exactly, because around the corner you see
I will
they've
never
got the
argue
sun.
with you again.
They've got the sun, but also if they go up in the aviary on the twigs, they're out of the sun.
Yes.
So yes, no, it's much better for them.
Yeah, you're right. So we'll leave them round the corner.
This would be nice for the old dogs. We're going to have some benches and stuff, aren't we?
Yep.
So that they can sit out here. Altogether, they're going to be very comfortable. In fact, one visitor said, could she move in here? So they look like holiday homes. Come on then. Shall we link? Right.
Thanks.
Go and feed the pigs now, shall we? Some woman had rescued a lot of potbelly pigs because so many people buy them as cute little piglets and they think they're like pets and they have them indoors and everything. And of course they grow huge like these and then they don't want them. So the lady that had rescued, she had about 12 and she sent us 3, 2 females and a male. Well, unfortunately one wasn't very well. Unfortunately, she did die. We had the vet out and did all we could for her. So now we're only left with Harry and Ada. They're very happy. In fact, they get on better, 2 than the 3. And they have a very good life here. They've got loads of room. 2 houses, a night house and a summer house that they use, that the sun shines in. And that's it, you know, they're here now and they won't be passed on again. They have special pig nuts and I give them cabbage and little tidbits, but not too much, nothing like donuts that they were fed on before because they were so fat when they came. They used to fall over and they just couldn't get up again. They were like oil drums with legs sticking out and they just couldn't get up, so we had to prise them up. And they didn't like that because they'd make a lot of noise if you do anything to them. They are very vocal. They snore at night. I come out because I leave some food out for fox and that's when it's dark and you can hear them. Usually they're in separate houses and they snore just like old men. But they're happy, very content.
At Watford it's exercise time and excitement builds as each dog anxiously awaits his turn. Poppy, meanwhile, is looking forward to a rest in her favourite armchair.
Oh, I hope it's the acupuncture that's working.
Okay, babe.
Okay, thanks, Brendan.
Have a dinner now, so she'll be happy.
Good.
See you there. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
The dumped kittens are monitored carefully. They have been kept in a special hospitalisation unit so that Amanda can keep a close eye on them.
Just 4 kittens were dumped at the gate on Saturday. Just want to put them back in their basket. I don't think they were actually there very long, probably about an hour or so. I don't think any more than that. People dump them, but you know, all they have to do is ring the bell. If they're that ashamed of dumping them, they could just ring the bell and run away, but at least we'd know they were there, rather than them sitting outside all night on their own. If it was very cold, these would probably have died by the time they were found sort of 8 o'clock next morning. Also in the box with those 4 was this one. Where is he? There he is. He's not even got his eyes open yet, he's only sort of about a week old. And this would definitely have died through the night if he wasn't found and kept warm.
The Trust's strict neutering policy is applied to a newly arrived lurcher. Alison and Franca prepare him for his operation. Alison performs around 15 castration and spading operations a week at the Trust's Watford Centre.
Hello. Hello. Good lad. There's a good boy. Come on. Oh, don't look. Good lad. The good lad. Oh, yes. Sleep. Good boy.
Castrating them does help prevent prostate problems in older age. And what we do is we push the testicle forward
and make an incision just in front of the scrotum.
And if you feel ill, go out.
Well, he'll come home from the anaesthetic within about half an hour, although they do all vary. And then we make sure that they don't get any exercise off lead for about a week until their stitches come out. Some dogs can be a bit bouncy, and if they do bounce up and down and do too much, then there is the risk that the scrotum swells a little bit.
I have a feeling he's going to be one of them.
Yes. And we have had to have some dogs on sedatives for a few days post-operatively, just to keep them calm enough, otherwise they do swell and make themselves sore. Right. So 2 testicles removed, and then it's just a question of sewing the skin up.
In just a few days, this dog will be fit enough to look for a new owner.
Coming to adopt an animal, we are very thorough. They initially come, they look around, and if they see something they're interested in, they fill in a form, and then if they've seen a dog they like, we decide whether we think that dog would match them. It's not a question of I like that dog, I want it. It's a question of whether we think that dog is suitable for their household.
Our white Persian cat, deficient in the teeth department, has recovered well from his operation and is getting to know his new surroundings. He will adjust to having fewer teeth and will soon be able to eat as normal.
We're now in the kitten house. Any of the cats that come in or kittens that come in that aren't old enough to be go out for homing, they're sort of younger than 12 weeks, they're not fully vaccinated yet, come into here and stay here until they're old enough to be homed, and then they'll go down the yard and join the other cats. This is Betty. She's gone to sleep. She's normally very lively. There she is. She's about 6 weeks old, 6-7 weeks old at the moment. She's only been with us a few days. She's not been in very long at all yet. Good girl. Next door, well, the 2 cages next door are actually the same litter. There's 4 of them. They came in with their mum. They've now been weaned. They're old enough they can eat themselves. Mum's gone down the yard. Trouble is with these kittens, they make such a mess. You can never ever keep their cages tidy. Shush. Hugo, this is Hugo. He came in, the family actually had a young baby who they decided was allergic to kittens. So he came in a couple of weeks ago. You can see on his tummy he's got stitches. He had a little hernia there which we repaired last week. And he's very affectionate. He loves cuddles and he just purrs and purrs. Wouldn't you? But he should hopefully find a new home soon. He's now fully vaccinated, just recovering from his little operation.
As Trindledown develops, more animals are taken in. Among the early arrivals are 3 brood mares.
Come on, let's go and feed them. Peaches is looking very fat.
I know, well, she was a broodmare, you see, and she's sort of like women that have had a lot of children. She lost her figure, but she's a beautiful animal. I mean, she's got a very lovely nature, and as you can see, beautiful colour in the summer. Now she's lost all that winter fur. But,
she's lovely.
She must have had some lovely foals, I would think, because she's got gorgeous conformation. And
gorgeous what?
Conformation.
What does that mean?
Well, her shape, her front and the way she's made.
Oh,
like
right.
a Miss World would have good conformation. And she's a good colour for a Palomino. I was going to trace her history if possible, because she's got a brand on her which should be registered, and it would be interesting. I would have thought that in her youth she would have done quite well in the show ring. You're lovely, aren't you? But she's very friendly. She's a bit of a loner because the other 2 came together and they've been together for years, and she's sort of the latecomer, so she has to bide her time to be included. The other two are brood mares, and they're very friendly. This one, Moni's about 25, and she is the boss, but unfortunately her eyesight's going a little bit, but it doesn't stop her being the leader. The other one, Jewel, I'm not sure if she's had foals or not, but she came as a companion, and they've been together for years, so they couldn't be separated now.
Kath is adamant that we don't overfill the fields because it can soon wear out the nourishment within the field, and it's not good for the horses or the field. So this is about our limit now, although being in a racehorse area, of course, we're continually getting requests to take on racehorses that have outlived their usefulness in racing circles, but Kathy is adamant that this is the limit for horses, and we're going to stick at that.
The kittens are progressing well, but like babies need regular feeds.
Hello, you. You're full of energy, aren't you?
Amanda and the dedicated team gain enormous satisfaction from seeing animals in their care thrive. These kittens are no exception, but the first few days are critical, and feeding doesn't stop at the end of the working day. The live-in members of staff care for sick animals all through the night as well.
They're so much livelier than they were when they first came in. Really changed within sort of a couple of days. Good boy. You're making a mess, aren't you? They'll be fed again in about another 2 to 3 hours. These can probably go for about 3 hours before they have some more. They also need to get done through the night. So, come on, can you wake up? Kittens get homed ever so easily. These, when they're sort of about 12 weeks old, they'll be fully vaccinated, and then they'll go up for homing. They'll get reserved sort of straight away. People always want the kittens. It's the older cats that tend to get left a bit longer.
A high number of stray dogs come from Wales, and there are regular deliveries to the Watford Centre. It's a delicate operation for the already stressed animals, and care has to be taken in their transit. So just how long does the journey take?
From home, probably about 6.5 hours altogether.
And how many dogs have you been up today?
We've got 16 altogether. They've taken 12 here, and we've got 4 to go on to another rescue. I've been doing it 3 times a week, but we need more drivers because we need to do 3 runs a week. There's that many dogs. It's about 70 a week to move.
And so this is only one of how many centres you bring them to?
Oh, 30. All over the country. We use the Blue Cross Bath Dogs Home, take a good few for us. The other Animal Welfare Trust down at Heaven's Gate at Bridgewater. Blue Cross down at Tiverton. Small rescues that will take perhaps only 1 or 2, but it all helps. You know, it does make a difference. But it's very few that will take this number. That's the problem. You know, sometimes you've got maybe 10 dogs. You might have to stop at 4 different places to drop those 10 off. And that can be, you know, quite a problem. And you've got to make sure your journey is within sort of half an hour each. I mean, the other place we're going to now is half an hour from here. But obviously you've got to do your runs, go in the same direction, do you know what I mean? Friday we're going down to the West Country, so we'll be going down to Tiverton. NCDL centres help us as well. We take them to Ilfracombe, Kenilworth, Evesham, all over the place. Now this dog is very, very nervous of men. He's at 5 women, but really doesn't like men. Right, okay, drink is coming, and you're not jumping out. No, we're not going to jump out. If we ever get the door open. Just stay there, don't go pushing the door. There we are. Okay, you probably won't drink it. I always thought it's a brilliant idea to give them water in transit, but most of them took it upside down and they sit in a wet bed, so not always a good idea. But these were the last on, so I thought if I water them now, we've got another half an hour and we'll be at the other place. Okay, Puds. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. There you go, puppy. Yeah, so we'll go back now, and then you've got to clean all the cages out, ready for Friday. So it goes on. And if you think that every dog and bitch we're bringing out of Wales are going to rescues and being spayed and neutered, it makes you wonder where they keep coming from.
The work has now been completed at Trindledown. The donated lamppost stands proudly in the centre of the dogs' exercise area. Animals can come here and look forward to a happy and relaxed retirement. The dogs' rooms are fitted with all mod cons, including televisions, beds and armchairs. They can socialise with their next door neighbours or meet up and play for those with enough energy. The cats too enjoy 5-star luxury. And they can indulge in an afternoon nap or have breakfast in bed if they so desire. They can pamper themselves with a spot of sunbathing in their own backyard. Trindledown is home to 3 horses, 22 dogs, 9 cats, 2 cows, 4 sheep, 3 goats, 2 alpacas, who are members of the llama family, a pig and 8 ponies. They all live a happy and contented life here at Trindledown Farm, thanks to the love and respect they get from the Trust. The lurcher is now fully recovered from its operation and is showing off in his attempts to find a new owner. Today is also the day when the Taylor family complete the formalities and pick up Zippy.
First of all, there's lots of literature and things in there for you to have a read through at your leisure, okay? This is just, it's the caring for your adopted dog leaflet. It tells you when Zippy was vaccinated. Okay. There's the vaccination card, which goes in there. That's when the booster is actually due. What she was fed on, which is 2 meals. It's the junior chum and canine growth as well, which I think we still have some, which is just the biscuit, which is really, is very good for them. That's that.
Adoption of an animal is taken very seriously at the National Animal Welfare Trust, and every aspect of care and protection is covered before an animal is allowed to be taken away.
We do follow-up post-home checks about 6 to 8 weeks later, but normally the majority of them will ring us a few days later and say, oh, they've settled in really well. A lot of them will visit.
Collar for the dog.
The animal's welfare is the Trust's priority, and everything is done to ensure this is taken care of. Can I just ask you what that form is that you're saying?
Certainly, yes, it's the agreement form, contract of adoption, and it specifies certain also regulations of how the animal should be kept and looked after. With also, if we move, because they're registered, then the new address is notified. So should anything happen, then we can be traced.
Okay.
And the dog returned to us.
Now, the other thing which is very important, this is the tag that we've had made for Zippy, okay? And if you look on there, you can see it says AWT 2896.
Right.
Well, this is actually her number, okay? When you leave here today, this card will go into the bungalow, which has your name and address on, again, her number, so if she does get out, it's just another safeguard.
Lovely.
Also on here, it has 2 telephone numbers, the 1320 and the 8215. So with the 1320 number, there's always somebody here, you see.
Brilliant.
So it's very important you get your phone number
Yes, on the other
put
side.
on the other side. Also, we've got here the ID chip tag, which again is just another safeguard, and that also has her UK, her number on as well. And also a telephone number there. So we just take lots of precautions, as you can see. You can pay me now.
Our minimum donation is £90 for a dog and £50 for a cat. Now there are people that actually say to us, oh, that's a lot, but It covers vaccinations, identity chipping and spaying, neutering. So £90 for a dog and £50 for a cat isn't actually a lot of money. If you worked out how much it would cost you to go to the vets and have that done, it would probably be well over £200 to get that done at a veterinary surgeon's, particularly for a dog.
Could somebody bring Zippy up to reception, please? Zippy? Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye.
We homed a German Shepherd last week that had been here over a year, Clyde. They took him on the Tuesday, and on Thursday afternoon they came to visit with him, and he looked a completely different dog. It was lovely to see, and that, quite frankly, makes the job worthwhile. We have a non-destruction policy, so no healthy animal is put to sleep. And if we can't home it for whatever reason, because there are some animals that don't appeal, then it stays here until we do find it a home. I'm a great believer that there is a home out there for all these animals, it's just finding the right person for them.